Hey, happy Wins Wednesday. Just wanted to share with you some thoughts about the trajectory of success in marketing. And it is not always what you think. It's not always the nice, smooth takeoff that we expect when we hit the throttle, right? Marketing is like every other aspect of business, it tends to be cyclical. You've all seen this slide. This is what we think success looks like. This is maybe what it looks like to people outside the company. It only takes, what did they say? It only takes 10 years to become an overnight success. So just to emphasize that and to give you some concrete examples, I wanted to share a little bit about two things that I've been doing with my own company. And of course, I can share the data because it's mine. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so it's really kind of helpful to look at things over the course of a really long time. And you can tell, our website's been around since 2012. And at that time, nobody really thought all that much about SEO or search engine optimization. It was just kind of something that naturally happened without giving it much thought. And so at that time, I thought, 152 visitors was a really great number. So, I didn't really think that much about it. And we didn't actually offer SEO services for sale, and I never started learning about it myself. You can see exactly when that happened. November of 2016. That was when I bought a subscription to some software, and I started taking a course and learning some stuff and applying it to our website first, and then, of course, to clients. So I'm going to narrow this down to 2 years. You can see even then, once I started doing this, I wasn't doing it all the time. So I would work on SEO for a while, and then I'd work on something else. I'd work on trade shows maybe over a summer, and you can see a little dip here. Some other things were happening. I would get a bunch of clients. They would take a lot of my time. I wouldn't be doing the activities that I knew would bring me success in search engine optimization, because it's kind of a low-key activity. So if I look over the course of 2 years, I know during May and June of 2019, I had a lot of clients that needed a lot of attention. So I made the conscious decision to kind of let my SEO slip a little bit, and came back to that and started working on it again. So a lot of these things are cyclical. So if I'm looking at my SEO, I'm going to see a graph like this. But then if I look at my social media, I'm going to see some different bumps. And if I look at my speaking appearances and other things, this may have been a high point. In fact, I think it was when there was a lot going on in other parts of the business and other parts of our marketing. So you don't ever want to look at your statistics and think, this should be a smooth, fabulous, all-in-one. And the more detail I get into, the more I'm going to see these spikes and valleys. And I'm not going to worry about those too much. As long as the general trend is up, that's what we're looking for. So I can narrow this down even to the month, and I can see I'm, doing pretty good for the month. But if I happen to have a valley like this, that's okay. As long as the general trend is up, I know people are going to be finding us on the web. I know it takes about 90 days from any action that I take right now to be evident in terms of visitors and other things on our website. So right now I'm feeling pretty good about the number of visitors to our website, the amount of organic traffic that we're getting. And, that makes me feel pretty good. But we didn't get here overnight, and we certainly didn't get here in a straight line. So I'm going to show you something else. So when we start working with a client, we might start working on their website, and then we move to their social media, maybe in the third month that we've been working together. And then they have a trade show come up, and we spend all of our time getting them ready for that and getting a good presentation built and getting invitations out and all of those things. So, you're going to see ups and downs in every one of their media. And here's one, this is ours in terms of social media. So this is the last 30 days on social media, and you're going to see not all the numbers are up, right? Our Twitter is down, and, a lot of that has to do with there's a lot of political turmoil on Twitter recently. I had a lot of people jumping out. So, the number of followers and subscribers, that's actually a good thing, because if they're that interested in politics, they're not that interested in aviation. So great, that's more power to them. Facebook is down a little bit. Instagram is up, and LinkedIn is up. You know what? About 3 months ago, in one of our Monday meetings, John and I were talking about where do we get most of our customers. Most of our customers come from search engine optimization, LinkedIn, and then actually Instagram has become more important to us than it has been in the past. So those are places that we're spending time and money, that and YouTube. So I'm not that worried about Twitter and Facebook. Just because I can measure it doesn't necessarily mean that that's something that I should be concerned about. So, what I do get from this tool that's really helpful is I get, which were our top posts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. And what am I seeing in terms of audience activity and engagement, on each of these channels. And how is that stacking up for us? Especially if I break it down to its components. Instagram for us is up. If I look at YouTube, it's actually going to be up pretty well in terms of the number of views and things like that. And if I looked at LinkedIn, my number of followers on LinkedIn is actually looking pretty good. So, those are things that aren't necessarily tracked on a dashboard quite as easily because YouTube and LinkedIn weren't on my main dashboard. So I guess the main point of today's conversation is that looks can be deceiving. Don't always look for a straight upward curve. A lot of marketers are going to show you graphs that look like this. That's not typical. And if you look at the details, you're going to see something more along the lines of an up and down, backwards and forwards, tangled web of success. So don't get too carried away with the dashboards and the metrics and the numbers that you can measure easily, because they may not be the most important numbers that you have. So what is the most important numbers that you have? They're not always the easiest ones to track. And, those are your ultimate success really is the number of sales that you made this year. So all of these other things that we talk about, all of these marketing activities, how many visits you get to your website, how many people are following you on social media, how many people are opening your emails, that's all good numbers to have, but they're usually precursors to your sales. So you're going to see a lot of this. Don't be distracted by the ups and downs. The main thing is to keep your eye on the ball and look at your sales numbers over the year is really the most important number that we look at for each of our clients.